Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for coming back over and watching another YouTube video and talking about what else is going on. Don't forget that there is a podcast version. Episodes are released every Tuesday and Friday. We did not release an episode today, but we may release one either tomorrow or Thursday in place of today. And Fridays will go on as planned. You can find the podcast wherever you listen to all of your podcasts. Again, what else is going on? But right now, I want to get into some things that I saw and talk about what else is going on with them. So we're going to talk a couple of housewives, maybe former coming back, maybe not, how y'all feel about that. And then two other stories that I was really interested in. So first up, let's talk about the news that has been all over social media for the last, 15 or so hours from the neighborhood talk. Porsha and Kenya returning for Sweet 16. According to the neighborhood talk, neighbors, it's been a lot of chatter about which ladies will be returning for season 16 of Bravo's Real Housewives of Atlanta. Well, we can confirm that two OGs will be a part of the cast. We spoke exclusively with close sources to the Peaches, who confirmed that Porsha Williams and Kenya Moore are locked in for season 16. Now, we haven't seen Porsha since she left the franchise after season 13, shortly after she announced that she was engaged to her now husband, Simon Guobadia. So, what do y'all think? I'm not even going to say a split decision. I've seen a majority so far from what I'm seeing or what's coming across my timeline. People are ecstatic. People are happy. People are excited that Porsha's coming back and that Kenya's coming back. Then on the flip side of that, I see people saying we don't want to see a stale beef, the same old stale beef between Kenya and Porsha. We don't want Porsha to come back. We don't think she can make or break a show. And I do believe that one person, and this is not particularly talking about Porsha, just for any reality show cast, one person doesn't make or break a show, but I do believe one person can affect the different personalities in the cast and may activate other personalities. Whereas you could bring somebody on who doesn't activate them and you just have a boring type cast. And I don't even mean boring like no drama. I mean no personality. Because to me, it doesn't always have to be about drama. And I know some people want the more mess, the more drama, the better. For me, I never felt like that. I know it comes along with that, but it was never a thing for me. Oh, there has to be drama. Sometimes it was too much. Like, give me a break. So like when franchises have filler episodes, good. I need a break because all the mess that was going on last 4 episodes in a row, mama needs to come down a little bit. So I don't mind that. But I don't think that you can put the downfall or resurge of a cast on one person's shoulders. Again, that one person may have a big enough personality that can spark off all the other cast members. Then you can say, well, yeah, we definitely needed them. You know what I mean? So I don't mind if she comes back. I will say this. I've always liked Porsha, even though I wasn't one of the ones that I love Porsha and she never does any wrong. I just liked Porsha, knowing that sometimes she was fully wrong, just like sometimes with Kenya Moore, people may love Kenya, knowing that there are instances when she was fully wrong. I do think, depending on who else comes back, if any of the cast, would maybe depend on how Porsha and Kenya move forward. Like, think about it. For instance, Marlo, which I don't ever have to see her on my screen again. But if she came back, Kenya and Porsha have an issue with her, which would make the perfect opportunity for Kenya and Porsha to become alliances, right? Marlo would maybe only have Sheree if she came back, which I'm gonna be honest, I don't need Sheree either. But we'll see. I'm just to talk about Atlanta, it's making me excited, right? Because it's a promise of hope almost for the franchise. Like, oh, you're hoping. Come on, come on, come on. It doesn't have to necessarily be like it was before, but let it be a fresh wind, as they say in church. Let it be an awakening. It's got to be something. Something's got to be over there. So I'm more excited about the rampant talk about Atlanta. Who's coming? Who's going? Who's going to mix well? Who's not? So we shall see. Do y'all think? I know I asked in the last video, but do y'all want to see Phaedra back? Do you think she should come back? I said that Bravo clearly likes her. They put her on Married to Medicine, but would they bounce her back over to a housewife? She did do a couple of appearances on the Real Housewives of Dubai a couple of seasons ago. Speaking of, when is that coming out? I remember us watching. They showed the first episode at BravoCon. I thought it was coming out like in January or February. I could be wrong. Are y'all looking forward to Dubai? That thought just crossed my mind thinking about Phaedra. So she was on Atlanta. She did a couple episodes on Dubai, bounced over to Married to Medicine. Do y'all want to see her back on Atlanta? Do you think she would fit back on Atlanta? Who knows? Speaking of Atlanta, let's talk about Andy Cohen upon hearing the announcement of Kandi leaving. I think this was one of the best send-offs from Andy that I've seen, although Nene's was really good too, because we know at the time or before that time they had some type of closeness, but I thought this was so good. So I got this from the Daily, I just got the transcript from the Daily Mail. Andy Cohen called Kandi Burruss one of the greats as he reflected on her impact following her announcement she is quitting The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Burruss, 47, announced her departure from the show after 14 seasons during a red carpet interview at the 2024 Grammys. Cohen reflected on her legacy on his show, Radio Andy, recalling how viewers got to know Burruss over the years, her contributions to the show, and how a letter she wrote to Bravo during the racial reckoning of 2020 made waves within the network. Incredible run, and you think about how much she not only went through on the show, but brought to the show. When she came on, she was with AJ. He, between filming our first season and shooting the reunion, was killed. She lost him. Mama Joyce was disapproving of AJ in her first season. This was season 2 of Atlanta. It was Kandi's first season. She also, in those early seasons, did the music and wrote Tardy for the Party, which has become, canon. I mean, it's just iconic to the moment. She fell in love with Todd. He was working for Truly Original when they were on their trip in Africa. He had a job. For those that, let me be quiet. She brought us Mama Joyce. She brought us Bolo. She brought us The Dungeon, Bedroom Kandi, Don Juan, the Old Lady Gang. I mean, it goes on and on. By the way, I was saying Todd had a job because there were some people that feel like he didn't have no job in this and that. You know the stuff that they say about Todd when he hasn't shown us really that he is in it for her money. At least I don't think. But anyway, back to what Andy said. She was always very true to herself. She wanted to be the best. She has been one of my favorite people to work with in my whole time, first as an exec at Bravo, and then as an EP of the Housewives, and just, hosting Watch What Happens Live. I love how competitive she is. I love how thoughtful and smart she is. She is so strategic. She would call me anytime. She had a thought about either the way the show was being marketed or not marketed, or about the way it was being scheduled. Or she had a lot of really smart opinions and thoughts, and she always wanted to. She was always wanting to know more. What's your strategy here? What are you thinking? It was always a great dialogue. And then sometimes at the end of the conversation, she would say, you know what? I'm glad I called. I totally get it now. Sometimes she would say, y'all are wrong. And y'all are wrong. And a lot of times, by the way, she was right. So, there's that. She always brought her authentic self to whatever she was doing. And I'm excited also because she just came into the show with obviously her own name and career. I mean, she's got a huge thing. She's a Grammy-winning songwriter and performer. One of the reasons I love having her on the radio show when she comes through town or anything. I mean, she wrote Bills, 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 No Scrubs. The list goes on and on. She worked with Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey. She's in Mariah Carey's autobiography. I mean, she's got a long history as a songwriter and performer. And now, as a producer of Broadway shows and actress. I know she's going to continue being a success in everything she does. He also described how a letter she wrote to Bravo during the racial reckoning of 2020 made waves within the network. During the summer of 2020, which was a reckoning for all of us on many levels, she wrote a thoughtful letter to all of us at Bravo and Truly Original with some really valid and true thoughts about the way we could be conducting business differently that might be just more inclusive, more positive, more meaningful, and then took it seriously enough that they basically made them all action items and said, well, we need to do this. Now, I'm sorry. Let me go back and read that. She wrote the letter with some really valid and true thoughts about the way that we could be conducting business differently, that might be just more inclusive, more positive, more meaningful. And it led to a great conversation between she and the network. And I believe the network then took it seriously enough that they basically made them all action items and said, well, we need to do all of this now. That's a partner. That's someone who's like, we are in this together. We have a long history. This is what I'm seeing that's going on. This is how it could be better. Andy also said she is one of the greats, and I want everyone to know it. So thank you, Kandi, for your service. You know, Kandi heard that and got teary-eyed. I could see her now tearing up. You know, it was definitely very sweet. And I don't feel like he was just saying it. I feel like he probably meant it. And I do believe that Kandi did. She brought a lot, as far as I'm concerned, to the show. She wasn't always my favorite. I will say I was when I tell you an Escape fan down 1995, was it 94, 95? I was a senior in high school in 95. When I tell you Kandi was my favorite in the group, favorite. I loved her. And it's funny how you can see an album cover, see interviews, because I was an Escape fan down, I'm telling you, see all that, and just for whatever reason, you're drawn to someone in the group. You have no clue about their personal life. There weren't video cameras in people's homes. Fast forward, she's on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, and I was so excited because I'm like, Kandi, this is my favorite. And I was kind of like, no. Right? It's just funny how that works. But I will say Kandi brought a lot to the show. And we'll see, you know, if this truly is a break, because she said a break. See if she comes back. So again, wishing Kandi all of the best. Kandi is definitely going to be, we don't even have to say, we know she'll be successful. She know she's going to be successful in whatever it is that she does. So shout out to you, Kandi Burruss. Page 6. Is Kim K and Kroy like contracted to appear in an article 2 or 3 times a month with Page 6? Here is something else that is now going on. Kim Zolciak claims Kroy Biermann is leaking divorce info to the press, files for confidentiality order. Kim Zolciak is claiming that Kroy Biermann is leaking divorce info to the press and has filed for a confidentiality order, according to court docs obtained Monday by TMZ. The Real Housewives of Atlanta alum asked the court to issue a protective order that would redact certain names and financial records in the docs she submitted in the estranged couple's ongoing divorce case, per the outlet. Zolciak noted in the docs that there is a substantial amount of public interest in their split and wants to protect herself as media outlets continue to cover developments in her divorce from Biermann, 38. Now, I think this is interesting because I was surprised that it would be Kim who'd want to keep anything private. But if she feels like this is embarrassing to her, you know, she tries to portray an image. So I can see her doing this. I mean, think about how whenever somebody would speak about what was going on, like the foreclosures and all of that, everybody was just haters. According to TMZ, the ex-Bravo star said that embarrassing info, see, I hadn't even seen that, embarrassing info has already made its way into the public sphere, though she does not specify what exactly, and claimed that the retired NFL player is to blame. Per the docs, Zolciak previously pleaded with Biermann to agree to a confidentiality order, but hasn't been successful. Because of the former athlete's objections, she alleges that he is feeling unsavory, that he is feeding unsavory stories to reporters. She's now asking a judge to step in with a court-ordered mandate that would prevent more sensitive information from getting out. An official ruling has yet to be made. I think it's interesting when one party, you know, they're both, when in a marriage, say both people are public figures, but one party seems adamant about it being public. I think about Tiana Taylor and Iman Shumpert. Is it Shumpert or Shumpert? When Tiana first filed, she did it under what initials, so no one could figure out who they were. Their business wouldn't be public. Iman went and filed for it to be made public. And I just wonder why, knowing you have children, and in both these cases, if Kroy is in fact doing that, you have children, this is going to live on the internet for forever. Why would you not want it to be private? You know what I mean? We'll see. But like I said, I was thinking Kim, of all people, I felt like she would want press, good or bad. But if it's embarrassing press, if it's press that she can no longer deny because there are actual, even though there were records before for the foreclosure, but hardcore facts that she can't deny and she can't put up a front, then maybe she's like, you know what? Let's just keep this private. So we'll see. A judge has yet to rule to say whether or not they were going to allow that. Speaking of lawsuits and divorces and housewives on these shows with no money or saying that they have no money. So we know the Real Housewives of Orange County, first ever Housewives franchise, was supposed to be a look behind the gates, right? You're seeing behind the gates how the rich and fabulous live in, what is it, Coto de Casa, right? We're supposed to be seeing all of that. We have Heather Dubrow on, we had Vicky, different, Shannon, who had, didn't she have diamonds buried under a basketball court or something, rubies or something like that? Dorothy's red ruby slippers, something like that. She had buried under her, I'm joking, buried under her floor in her old home, the basketball court, right? Last season, they brought on Jennifer Pedranti. I'm not sure if that's how you say that, Pedranti, who was Tamra's friend. I think for the most part, from conversations that I saw, people liked her, and she was with Ryan, but she wasn't divorced from her husband because the husband worked for the family. They maintained a good relationship. I think his name was Will. When he would come back to the area, he would stay at, there's a house that he would stay at the house. So they had this great relationship, right? And she didn't want to destroy that. She didn't want him to feel like he wasn't without her family because he was family to her. It was her ex. Here's a little turn of events. RHOC star Jennifer Pedranti reveals low monthly income in bitter divorce war, borrowed money from boyfriend Ryan. Real Housewives of Orange County star Jennifer claims she has a nominal amount of money in her savings as she pleaded with the court to order her ex to cough up monthly support. Radar Online obtained the financial declaration submitted by Jennifer as part of her bitter divorce with her ex, William. As we first reported, Jennifer filed a motion demanding the sole custody of their 4 minor children, monthly support, and $20,000 to cover legal fees in the divorce. In her financial report, Jennifer claims she was the co-owner of Devi Rebel Yoga and a part-time actress on The Real Housewives of Orange County. I'll read that to you again. In her financial report, Jennifer claims she was the co-owner of Devi Rebel Yoga and a part-time actress on The Real Housewives of Orange County. She said her monthly income varies, but listed her average monthly income as $1,166.66. She said that does not include any profits she's paid from the yoga business. The reality star dated the document January 9th, 2024, before Real Housewives of Orange County started production this season. Jennifer said she had little in her checking and savings account, and any assets she could sell off were in possession of her ex. The reality star listed her monthly expenses in her filing. She said she paid $12,000 in rent, but was in the process of moving. Jennifer said she spends $1166 on health insurance, $3,000 on groceries, $100 on laundry, $100 on clothes, $100 on entertainment, $610 on auto expenses, and $1790 on other expenses. Her total monthly expenses total $18,879.66. The Bravo star revealed she owes $5,000 to her boyfriend Ryan over an unpaid loan. She owes another $30,000 to her parents who provided her a loan for legal fees. To date, Jennifer said she has paid her lawyers nearly $15,000. The reality star attached a pay sheet from, it says, Criff BravoCon, which showed she was paid $14,000 in November, the same month that BravoCon took place in Vegas. So was she paid $14,000 to go to BravoCon? Now, how can I don't get? I mean, I was sponsored to go. Thank you, Jesus. We want that again this year. She was paid $14,000. It looks like. In addition, Jennifer revealed her yoga business finally started to turn a profit at the end of last year. She spoke about her struggles to turn the business successful on her debut season of The Real Housewives of Orange County. As RadarOnline.com first reported, Jennifer recently demanded sole custody, again, along with child and spousal support. Her motion read, Jennifer requires assistance to cover essential living expenses for herself and her children, such as rent, food, and educational costs. While the petitioner currently covers health insurance expenses, additional support is needed to meet the financial requirements for the children's activities, as well as their food and clothing expenses, her motion explained. So here's my thing. She's going through this. She dated it January 9th, which is before the camera started rolling. So are we going to get this documented on the next season? And I don't know how I feel about that. How do y'all feel about that? We do want their real life, right? But I just feel like sometimes a money storyline, them not having isn't what I want to see. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying, like, I'm very sympathetic to anybody who's in that position. Of course, don't get me wrong. But I'm just like, when we're watching the Housewives, especially like in Orange County, I know Gina is on Orange County, and people have talked about her finances, and she did say she's one of the few that actually owns her home, child. But I don't know. I do feel like we're going to see this play out because it's something that it's going on in her real life. So it gives her a story to tell, right? But I guess we shall see. And I guess she's still with Ryan and she got to pay that $5K back. One last thing. I thought this was interesting because I really want y'all's take on this. In this age of social media and information that's obtainable out there, right? How far is too far? How much is for entertainment? How much could cross over into maybe a celeb safety? Should we have access to some of the things we have access to? Now, the person I'm about to talk about, for some reason, she irritates me. I'm just have to be honest. She's very talented, beautiful, can sing, got some bangers, but there's just something. But I kind of went back and forth with this one. So I got this from the Daily Mail. Taylor Swift threatens to sue College Jr., who runs social media account that tracks her private jet, accusing him of stalking and harassing behavior. Taylor Swift's attorneys are threatening legal action against a college student who runs social media accounts tracking her private jet movements and the amount of CO2 they produce. Hold on one second, y'all. Why I forgot to plug my computer up. Thank y'all. Thank you for waiting. And as soon as I probably got, it would have lasted all the way to the end and then shut down. The four-time Grammy Award winner's lawyers sent a letter to Jack Sweeney, 21, demanding that he stop logging her flights and locations. Sweeney, a junior at the University of Central Florida, has run several accounts that track the flight paths of planes and helicopters owned by celebrities, billionaires, politicians, and other public figures. His accounts use publicly available data. So again, where he gets his data from, it's public and it's available, and also share the estimates of their planet warning emissions with the college student first going head to head with Elon Musk in 2022 for sharing his jet's details. In a statement to dailymail.com, Sweeney said, I think it's important to note that nowhere do I intend for harm. I actually think Swift has some good songs. I believe in transparency and public information. Swift's attorneys in Washington saying the pop superstar 34 would have no choice but to pursue any and all legal remedies if he did not stop his stalking and harassing behavior, according to the Washington Post. It added that Sweeney's accounts had caused Swift and her family direct and irreparable harm, as well as emotional and physical distress, as well as heightening her constant state of fear for her personal safety. The letter, which was sent to Sweeney's family home, said that there was no legitimate interest in or public need for this information other than to stalk, harass, and extort dominion and control. Authored by Katie Wright Marone from Venable Law Firm, the strongly worded cease and desist accused Sweeney of treating it like a game. While this may be a game to you or an avenue that you hope will earn you wealth or fame, it is a life or death matter for our client. Swift has seen stalkers show up outside her homes, with one man arrested last month outside of her townhouse in Manhattan. The letter from her lawyer states that there is no legitimate interest or public need for this information other than to stalk, harass, and again, extort dominion and control. I realize that I said that twice, but this is how it's written in the article. A spokesperson for Swift said they cannot comment on ongoing police investigations, but confirmed that the timing of the most recent arrest suggests a connection. His posts tell you exactly when and where she would be, they added. So they're saying that the person that was arrested last month outside of her townhome kind of coincides with flight log information about her being there. Sweeney believes that the letter is an attempt to scare him from sharing public data, adding that he was being more careful with what he shared about the pop star. The letter came in December, around the time Sweeney's accounts tracking Swift's jets on Facebook and Instagram were disabled. A second letter followed, accusing him of harassing the star. He said that the threats of legal action came at a time where Swift was facing a huge backlash over the environmental impacts of her flights while on the road from her Eras tour, and also jetting across the U.S. to watch her new beau, Travis Kelce, play in the NFL. This information is already out there. Her team thinks they can control the world. Swift has been under pressure to cut down on her carbon emissions after jet setting across the U.S. to spend time with Kansas Chiefs tight end Kelce, while also performing the international leg of her tour. While many have called on the star to cut down on her travel, it is unlikely that the globetrotting superstar will switch to commercial flights due to her security fears, with many speculating she will use charter jets instead. After being crowned 2022's biggest celebrity polluter of the year, her team were quick to hit back, saying that she loans her planes out and also bought double the amount of carbon emissions tokens than she needed for her touring travel. But the singer, who announced her 13th album at Sunday night's Grammys, has been hit with a fresh barrage of scrutiny over her planet-warning emissions of carbon dioxide released with every flight. Based on statistics tracked by Taylor Swift Jets on Instagram, the hitmaker's trips have produced 138 tons of CO2 emission to date. The singer would need to plant 2,282 trees and allow them to grow for 10 years in order to offset the environmental damage caused by her flights. It is the equivalent of the energy used by 17 houses in 1 year, or the electricity use of 26.9 homes for 1 year, according to the greenhouse gas equivalencies calculator. That was a lot, right? So what do y'all think? I mean, are they tracking it, this gentleman, to show, look, this is what your jets are doing to the atmosphere, how much pollutant it's putting out? Could you maybe cut down, maybe trying to show her something visually in real time? I don't know. I was thinking, like, would I want my flights and all of that tracked? Even now, sometimes going on vacation, we want to post pictures, and I'm like, should we wait until we get back? Because then people will know that we're gone, and you don't know who's watching your social media, who's been watching your house. You just don't know. So a part of me was wondering, like, wow. I mean, he has the right to do it, but just because it's right, just because you can, doesn't mean you should, right? Doesn't make it expedient. So I don't know. What do y'all think? Do y'all think she needs to just understand that she's a public figure? This is public information that's available to the public. Or do you feel like, well, she has the issues with the stalkers? One was just arrested outside of her house last month. There could be a correlation. I don't know. I go back and forth with it. I just feel like there's so much information available out there for us that it's so good. We're so advanced, but also it can be kind of scary and, kind of dangerous depending on who has the information. So y'all let me know what y'all think. I will talk to y'all later. Bye.